All right, guys, you're about to have a kid, and here's what you do next. You hit the floor. Maybe that's what you're about to do. Well, that's for sure what I did. When I had my second kid, things were really intense. I was anxious and scared, and I think I hit that toilet probably about 5 times because I was going on 2 hours of sleep. I already had another child, trying to figure out what was going on, who was going to watch that child. Well, our next kid decided to come a week early, figure out stuff for work the next day because I had big business plans and meeting to close a big deal. And here we are. We're at the hospital. My wife is ready to pump out this kid, and I hit the floor and pass out cold. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sam Spataro. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to welcome you to our community where I teach you how to kill that villain in us all that is pushed upon us at a very young age with beliefs and values from the people that we love the most that do not serve us, and may at one point cause us anxiety where we need to shift all that energy into something that's useful and powerful that can propel us to a more fulfilling, happy, and free life. And so here we are today. This is for you dads out there, and maybe you moms too if you enjoy this content that I'm about to share, because like parents, we all have different anxieties when it comes to kids. And so maybe you're just about to have a kid. Maybe you've been a dad for many years. And whether they're a teenager or an adolescent, or maybe even a grown-up like myself, your kid's still challenging in ways that bring upon anxieties, which really is just focusing on the things you cannot control, the uncertainties that are involved with being a father and all that responsibility that really follows with one of the most important roles in kids' lives and in life in general. And so there's a couple things I want to share with you today. Why is it so important to get your anxiety under control as a father? Well, for numerous reasons, but first I want to start off with why. And here it goes. A long time ago, men and women had really distinct roles in life. The men wandered and roamed and shot and killed the food for the family, which is why we have hunter brains. And then the woman usually stayed at home with the kids, collected berries and water sources and twigs along the meadow, because it's a lot safer. And so here we are today. Our roles are somewhat the same, but if you look very prominently in society today, so many things have shifted. As men, we are doing things that maybe for example, my father never did, and our grandparents definitely didn't do, where they're so engaged and involved in their kids' activities, with what's going on in their lives. This was roles that mostly mothers took on generations ago, and here we are today. We're playing both roles, and it can get confusing at times because you feel like you're being pushed and pulled in two different directions. And ultimately what's happening when those things arise is it's just not in your nature to take on a lot of the roles that you're taking on today. And so you'll start to get a lot of anxiety, like I did, with dealing with things that were really just not programmed to deal with. And so maybe you're also not an alpha male. Maybe you're more of a beta male, which means you're leading more with your feminine energy rather than your masculine energy. And you aren't really a quick thinker, a problem solver. You like to kind of step back and really see how things are all working so you can kind of get a more holistic view of how to approach things. And so that can create conflict, because sometimes as a man, we need to make decisions on our feet because that's how we're designed. And so I started to get a lot of the anxiety as being a father, because we are all about solving problems and looking for those quick solutions, right? Well, that doesn't really work as a father a lot of the times, especially when you're trying to help your kids with different things like solving problems. Maybe they're pulling a temper tantrum and you've tried every angle and nothing works. Maybe you have a teenager, they crack that puberty part of life, and now they're giving you nothing but grief, like kind of I did with my parents, and you don't know what to do. Maybe they have finished college university and they spent all that money and they can't find a job, and you feel helpless to help them. You almost feel like you have a responsibility, and you almost feel like you've let them down, and you feel like you've let yourself down because maybe you haven't given them all the tools. Maybe you also led them in the wrong direction. And so why do we feel anxiety when it comes to children? It has to do with uncertainty. And uncertainty is one of the 6 human needs that each and every individual has. We have certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. But when life gets too uncertain, most of us get a lot of anxiety because it just brings on so much stress. There's already so many things that we can't control in life. And when life starts to stack all these things with kids, and you're trying to deal with all these other things at the same time, where we're in such a crazy pace of life today, you really don't have time to grasp what's going on and really give the time and the attention that it needs. And so it can build up if you keep stacking on it and it becomes unresolved. And that's usually what happens with anxiety. It reaps its ugly head, not when you're busy, but when you're doing nothing and you're relaxing and you're calm, because your mind and body no longer together have the capacity to work all that built up energy that's going through your head. Now you have to deal with it, both body and mind. And so there are numerous things that I dealt with as a father and with my kids, as I have 3. They're 9, 7, and 4. And so how did I get to where I am today is a couple unique things. One thing is I give myself a timeline and a realistic view of how I can help to solve the problem, because a lot of the times you can't solve the problems with kids, and these are things that they need in their lives so that they can grow and not take away the pain and not take away the struggles, but be a guiding force, almost like a coach. You know, if you're a dad and you're watching this, I want you to think of you as a coach for your children. And so don't personalize all the things that are going on with their failures and the struggles that we're going through. Rather, be a support network. Really sit there and listen to what they're going through. Give them some good, unique tools to help them push them through, and let them know that you'll be there to guide them, but not do it for them, as these are particularly important elements to shaping and molding them so that they can also one day in life take care of themselves and thrive. I see a common mistake today with parents where most of them suffer with anxiety and they try to make their kids' lives so easy. And that is a huge problem, because there will never be a point in their lives where life will be easy. And one day they won't have you to rely on. And so you need to stop that. I know you love them, but you also have to love them in a way that allows them to grow and be their own unique selves and find their own individuality, which will they then find through pushing through their pain and their struggles in life. Your job is not to make it easy, but yet be a support network of love and empathy and encouragement if you need to keep pushing down the road. And so take that responsibility out, which is, I don't need to be the helicopter parent that solves all the problems for my kids and tries to make it as easy as possible, but rather let them know you're going to be there to walk through the fire with them, but they need to walk through it, because on the other side is who they really are. And that all comes in the shape of self-discovery. And so that's one way to end your anxiety. Quit trying to make it really easy for your kids in life and allow them to walk their own path. And don't blame yourself, and don't get hard on yourself for their failures. We all need to fail in life. But the more that they fail, one day they will then succeed a lot more. And so will you if you stop being so hard on yourself. And the next thing that I want to share with you, and this is a really, really important tool as a parent, when it comes to your kids and they get older and they're about to leave, it can shift and change your relationships. And so what I want to stress to you that's really important, if you don't want to bring about anxiety in your relationship, because now the dynamic of the relationship with your children has changed, make sure you actually sit down with your partner and have a really good talk especially you men out there, because we are horrible at talking because we're not taught to communicate. We're literally designed to work with our hands. And yet today, there's a lot of things that have shifted and changed. And what will make things better in a modern relationship in the year 2020 is that you start learning to respect that, communication is a very important part of a relationship. Even though it's hard for you, it's still hard for me at times to communicate how I'm feeling. And so this is even more important when you have kids involved as well. So create a support network, be there for one another as you experiencing these challenges, and you will feel a lot less anxiety, because I know a lot of the times, when we do look at the failure that our kids have, and maybe where they're not, when we really beat ourselves down as parents and hold ourselves responsible and hostage for all the things that are going on, and really, it's just not our job. Look at our parents, look at what they did. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we wish that they did better that they didn't do, and how we talk about how our kids are going to be so much better because we're going to do things differently. But we are still making mistakes that they will one day wish and say the exact same things that we do. So just know your part. Take a deep breath, step back and calm down, and learn to enjoy being a father. Learn to enjoy being a parent. Alleviate the anxiety by letting go of the worry and the things and the uncertainty of which you can't control, which a lot of the times is focusing on the future, the tomorrow of what it might bring. And for a lot of you, with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, and maybe you have kids that are about to go to college, university, or maybe they were in college, university, maybe school has changed, maybe there's a lot of sectors that they were about to go into to start a business or find a job, and there's just not those opportunities there anymore. And maybe you're being a little hard on yourself because you feel like you kind of should have seen this coming. Whatever it is, step back and out and away from your anxiety. Your anxiety is always looking for trouble. Your anxiety is always looking for what's wrong. But it's only doing that to protect you and keep you safe. It is a useful tool if you know how to use it. But if you don't know how to use it, then it will use you. And so I want to end on that note. If you did enjoy this video, I'm really new, as you can tell. Hit that like button. It'll pick up the algorithms on YouTube and hopefully get me a higher ranking eventually one day when it comes to my videos in the anxiety sector, because one of my goals, my missions in life is to be one of the biggest mental health anxiety advocates in the world, and you could be part of that mission by helping me, and I'd be so grateful. So please hit that like button, and also, if you have time, hit the notification bell, and it will let you know the next time that I do a video. And subscribe to my channel. I'd love to welcome you to this community, and if you know anyone else out there that is about to become a father or who is a father and might be struggling, and let's face it, when people get together, they don't talk about what's going on good with their kids. They sit there and complain about what's going wrong. So let me be a part of helping them to make it right by sharing this video with someone that you think might need it. And like I end on all my videos, and like I tell my children every night before they go to sleep, even though my youngest hates it, if you are going to dream tonight, guys, or today, please make sure you dream big and always keep smiling.